Welcome, everyone, and happy Thursday. It is noon Eastern time in a little town I like to call Ambler, PA. Noon, Ambler, Thursday. It is time for Talent Experience Live, your weekly look at all things talent acquisition, talent management, human resources as a whole, and of course, applied AI. Talent Experience Live is proudly brought to you by the good folks here at Phenom, whose purpose is to help 1 billion, that's billion with a B, find the right work. It's the reason why we host this show every single Thursday, why we also have a wonderful podcast with Cliff Yerkowicz called Unusual Attitudes, why we have a plethora of great webinars. Definitely check out the webinars at phenom.com. Why we recently did AI Day last month, why we have lost my train of thought. Customer Obsession Day coming up this October the 30th, why we were at every single HR Tech event under the sun, and why we are also hosting I Am Phenom Europe in November. So if you're around, we are too. Feel free to drop onto the Phenom events tab, check out what we have going on, and come talk to us about our applied AI, which of course all ties into how we help a billion find the right work. We don't do it through webinars and events. We do it through our intelligent talent experience platform with applied AI, which helps candidates find the right fit faster, employees evolve in their current roles and beyond, recruiters achieve next level productivity and efficiency, and managers get to build better teams through data automation and analytics. If any of that interests you at all, the events, the applied AI, anything in between, run, don't walk to phenom.com and request a demo if you've liked. Now, we've paid the bills, we've checked the boxes, we are on to our main showcase, which today we are breaking down a little event we did a couple weeks ago, a little event I like to call AI Day. AI Day was 4.5 hours long. Who has that kind of time? I know you don't. That is why you are here. And today we are going to give you bite-sized snacks of AI Day to entice you to watch all 4.5 hours because it's that good. You aren't going to miss it. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The rest of it is fantastic content. So we are going to hear from our CEO and co-founder, Mahi Bayretti. We are going to hear from customer stories, maybe even see a couple quick little demos if we have the time. But AI Day was a fantastic success. I know we had a bunch of folks, customers included in the audience from our capstone event, which was hosted in Philadelphia just the day prior. I love doing AI Day every single year. We do it in this fantastic studio, not like this little place that I sit in every single Thursday. So definitely check it out. But if you don't have that kind of time, if you just want to watch a couple of the clips, here is everything that you need to know about AI Day and so much more.
The type of work what we're really doing is drastically changing. And that's because of technology. So today we'll show how this is changing, not from just a use case perspective or an outcome perspective, but how technically it happens underneath every particular fabric. Now, if you take the last 20 years, we have a colossal shift. What happened is we have converted all the processes into digitization. And then internet power actually really made the whole equation really work from n number of point of views. Like you have seen what Jonathan is really talking about, in terms of where all we are using today AI. But all this is possible because internet has enabled this. It gave us a platform which we never had. But if you look at the last 2 years, what happened? It's an exponential shift. AI took a next leap of faith. And the reason for that was LLMs and GenAI and agents. This changed the overall equation from how you augment, how you adapt workflows, then how you self-improve the overall equation. That change we didn't witness before. This really brings to the next phase of what's the next 10 years going to be? It's going to be a mind-blowing shift, which we never thought. In our own dreams, we don't even understand what software can do right now. If we closely understand, we are moving from static to dynamic in the last couple of years. We're moving from instruction to prediction, and we're also moving from automation to agentic. Now, this is going even further. We're heading into a new world where software is no more about doing small tasks. It's almost your worker, which is working with you as if like it's a collaborator, like a teammate. It's collaborating with you, learning with you, understanding. But here is the point. The software can do end-to-end. A human has to do end-to-end. Software works in parts. AI and agent works in parts. Which parts it work effectively is what humans have to understand and delegate effectively. That can be enabling enterprise systems in a much more different format where you are evolving software into a living ecosystems which can learn, which can grow, which can negotiate, on top of it, which can optimize at every step. This transition is what the next 10 years is going to be. Now, the last 30 years, we all know software is just a tool. It's no longer a tool. It's a dynamic, living, evolving intelligence, which understands each person in the HR ecosystem, fundamentally who they are, what their intent is, what they're really governing for, and what they want to really accomplish, and what outcome they're really looking for. Can you consolidate it and contextualize for them at every step? That's the opportunity what we're really getting into. Now, we have used different types of user experiences interacting with machines. We type, we click, we swipe, we speak. Now we reason with it. We ask a question and we ask next question, we ask a next question, and constantly evolve from it. From a physical typing, we move to a cognitive control. We're depleting the friction of how to communicate with a machine. This is amplifying our intelligence to a different level. Now, what this does is, traditional software, if you really see, they collect structured data, which is what you typed and clicked. That's what the last 20 years you're collecting. But the unstructured data is what you swiped, what you really speak, and how you reason. This data is exploding to a different level. LLMs can amplify this, and GenAI can really give us a different viewpoint. Now, bringing all of this together is what creates a violent disruption. The datasets are moving in so adaptive format. We're building these cognitive systems which are continuously learning from every step where we sit. Now, instead of really just creating apps, where we are going right now is we are interacting and orchestrating with agents, which are not just connecting the apps, but also the data and the people and their interaction at every step of their way. In any journey you really think, it can work. Now, this is the best example I've seen quite recently. What's the difference between a cook and a chef? A chef is somebody who creates recipes. A cook is somebody who actually cooks whatever the dish you want. If you apply this to AI, the cooks are the ones which AI can take their job, parts of it completely or in pieces, so that you can bring productivity and usefulness with AI. Now, here is the point. After DoorDash and Uber Eats, most of us have tried multiple cuisines of food, which before that we never. Why? It's the ease of getting the food which makes human really crave for taste. When AI speeds up, what happens is your taste really goes up to a different level. People want different flavors. And the number of chefs you need will quadruple or even go hundreds of times more compared to what a cook can really do. That combination is what we are really going to witness. So you're, instead of really thinking about execution purely, you're thinking about exploration. And parts of the execution, you really deliver it to the agents and delegate it effectively. Now, we applied this for pure HR-specific agents. We really took all the tooling, what we built with the data engines, what we built with ontologies, what we built with orchestration engines, then the contextual engineering. And then we applied it to what we can do with chain of thought. Like use LLM as a judge to make sure we don't really make too many mistakes. Build evaluations which are really concrete. And build reinforcement learning in a nutshell to make sure everything is working in an effective format. But learning is very crucial because a pure LLM is imitative. It's not learning from an experience. So how can we really feed that equation in an effective format? Now, at Phenom, we actually showed you two types of agents, the experience agents and the persona agents. We have delivered over 25 agents. They're deployed in the customer bases right now. And we're seeing tremendous results. But over a period of time in the last 12 months, what we learned is we orchestrated the overall infrastructure. It's an RL design layer which actually really cracked in the last 2 years way differently than anything else. So what happens is when we use models, we use three types of models. One is specialized, HR-specific, domain-specific, small language models. The reason we use is they're cheap, they're fast, the latency is high. But we cannot use for everything. Then we use frontier models. Therefore, deep reasoning, novel use cases, where we need, like the data protection is not really amplified, like a job analysis. That can be done because jobs are publicly available. So, or voice analysis. Those areas we'll use it so that the data is protected. Then we have traditional ML systems, which we are building for the last 10 years. All of this is fed into a Dacian layer. And we use a policy infrastructure to optimize that whole thing. And then the actions are taken on top of it, and the feedback loop is built throughout because a human has to be there to really correct it. Now, this opens up a completely new paradigm in HR. We are transforming work. And if you look at what the transformation is, you'll have new job market, you'll have new patterns, you have new behaviors of how you operate today. This completely resets HR landscape into a different equation. Now, what is that reset really going to look like? If you think about that, just ask one simple question. How many lines of code is required to run a 10,000 employee company? Guess. Okay. In 2010, 50 million lines of code used to operate this. With cloud coming into infrastructure, SaaS became a primary element. 200 million lines of code is required. But what about 2030? It'll be 1 billion lines of code. And the billion lines are the persistent and ephemeral code you don't need to write. The AI will write. The functional code is where human comes into picture. So the billion lines of code. But here is the point. Nobody cares about lines of code. It doesn't matter. We left that arena. Where we are heading is instead of writing code, we are actually turning into a code orchestration software engineers. This is not anymore like factory workers staying in the factories making sure every bolt is fit. This is more like an air traffic controller really managing the overall infrastructure effectively. But this is not for software developers. This is for every job family will go with the same journey. So what 3-member teams can do today and the next 4 years is what we used to do with 50 or 100 people. Now, the question comes in, so people are not required? No. The speed at which you do things today, let's say you're doing like 500 tasks a day. With AI, you will do 5,000 tasks. But they have a limitation of what they cannot do. That's what will be delegated. That delegation task will be amplified for every human being to a different level. Till now, all we are doing is business process tasks. Our job is not that. Business process will be delegated to agents. What we will do is risk performance optimization tasks. Is the person who we're hiring is right? Will they stay? What was the reason? What are the data sets we have collected? Which particular reasoning we are really thinking? What's the guardrails not to really make this mistake again? You have to think about this from what we call as different levels of automation. If you're operating in level 0, it's all manual. 1 and 2, this is where you're really using some AI elements. But 3 and 4, you're making decisions primarily by using a lot of infrastructure which we have built in the last couple of years. The automation engines, what we really built with what we call as the GenAI infrastructure and all that stuff. But the level 5 is where the domination is. But in level 5, you need to experiment. There are companies who say like, hey, we want to only stay in level 3 and level 4. We work with them. There are companies who say we want to work in level 5 because we want to explore different equation. The reason why you need to explore is you can rethink the overall HR, every segment differently. Talent acquisition, onboarding, talent management, like employee experience, every segment you can do differently. But all of it you cannot do with a single automation layer. You have to think which particular spot, what level of automation you can really build. Now here is the good news. If people want to stay in 3 and 4, your mindset need not change. But if you want to level 5, your mindset has to dramatically change. If you want 100% perfection, otherwise you're not interested, level 5 is not for you. Why? The reason is AI productivity doesn't come from deterministic accuracy of how we are doing for the last 20 years. It's coming from a user embracing the non-deterministic and the probabilistic thinking, but effectively delegating which particular spots I can use AI, and also getting surprised and get wowed at what it can do and what the guardrails have to build. This is not about access to the tools. You get adoption. This is experimenting with the tools like a kid. And if you're willing to do it, your productivity levels will be different. You will really create the next level of technological ecosystem, but at the same time, the talent transformation, which we have never seen in the last 30 years. So what we built for the last 10 years is primarily the integration engine, the experience engine, which is where you can really put all your content in one single spot, and we integrate all your data in the backend. But if you see in the last couple of years what we did, we built these ontologies for skills, users, for talent, for enterprises. Then we really evolved into the next segment, which is about how do we use the models. The machine learning models we're using for a while, but the fine-tuned small language models are super crucial. Whether we use Llama or Quen or what the other infrastructure is, because the latency factors are super important. And then we use frontier models in the areas where we need. And then the reinforcement learning to make sure we learn in an effective format. Then all of this is orchestrated on your workflows. In an automation engine, where you can automate, orchestration engine, how it has to be orchestrated throughout, and the decision engine, when to really call which one. And that's what manifests to the end user as an enterprise search or a foundational AI apps or AI agents or AI safety, so that you don't really touch which is not really right. That in a nutshell is what we do as an intelligent talent experience. But what happens to a recruiter is a recruiter will turn, if you're operating in level 4 or 5, in a probabilistic format. And what happens to your job is you're shifting your tasks from fully control to using AI and leveraging it effectively to scale. The role of HR and a recruiter is going to be a guiding, refining, rather than purely executing. But you are guiding and refining only for uncertain tasks, novel tasks, which a machine cannot understand. And now what HR needs, what a recruiter needs, You need an always-on autonomous system which is super intelligent and create extreme reasoning. It's always on for you. It creates maximum productivity. It actually creates you a frontier models where it can constantly amplify, but it also accelerate your onboarding. But what these new features give you into your hands, it makes you stay present. It makes you remember everything even though you don't have a capacity, because you can't. But it makes sense because it's coming with context at right spots. So now what we'll do today is we'll actually really break it down and show you step by step how we do this, what use cases, what outcomes we have seen, and which technologies we use, which models used at what spots.
My name is Ann Strickard. I'm the Vice President of Talent Acquisition for Elara Caring. We hire approximately 17,000 home health aides to serve patients over 50 branches across the country. We have very dynamic hiring needs. Our overall goal does not change from month to month, but where those needs are can sometimes change pretty dramatically, just according to what's going on in the market at that time. So we needed a way to quickly pivot operations to another state and scale up quickly in another state. We felt the AI phone interview agent would allow us to do that. First thing that made us successful with this pilot was the willingness to pilot on a small scale and then iterate until we got it right. And so we chose one of our more complex states, but we only chose one state. And then we were able to really work with the tool until we got the conversion rates where we wanted to, and we were seeing the results that we wanted to. And so the piece of feedback I would give, or the recommendation I would give, is not to be afraid to iterate and make those small adjustments along the way until you get it exactly the way you want it. The largest surprise was that we saw some really great post-hire outcomes with these candidates. We found that the AI interviewed candidates took a first job faster, and they worked on average 3 hours a week more than the agents that were interviewed by a human recruiter. That was really exciting because we realized that the candidates that quickly went through an AI agent interview seemed to be more serious candidates. The other thing that was exciting for us is we saw faster candidate processing. So far we've been able to shave about 1.3 days off of that hire time, and have noticed that those candidates appear to be a more serious candidate post-hire. This is really exciting technology, and hope you are enjoying learning about what Phenom has been able to apply using AI to some of the challenges that we see in talent acquisition.
Thanks, Ann. Now let's take a closer look at the voice agent experience. So let me ask you this. What if your recruiters had a right-hand man? Oops, I'm sorry, I meant a right-hand agent that never sleeps. One that automatically reaches out to candidates, holds personalized conversations, knocks out the folks who don't qualify, and prioritizes best fit before a recruiter even logs in. That's the lift this agent provides. Always on, always consistent, and always moving the process forward. So here's how this agent actually works behind the scenes. On one hand, you've got automation. It takes care of outreach, scheduling, knockouts, and advances candidates without a recruiter touching a thing. On the other hand, you've got intelligence. It knows which questions to ask, when to probe deeper, and how to score responses against the job. Put that together, and you've got what we call the agentic screening process. Basically, automation and intelligence working hand in hand. Recruiters set the rules, the agents run the playbook, and by the time they log in, the right candidates are already moving to the next stage. And those rules, they're fully in your control. You can set knockout questions so must-haves are crystal clear. You can build a 1 to 5 star rubric to measure fit in a consistent way. And you can add branching logic so the conversation adapts in real time based on how someone answers. And the result is a dynamic, job-specific questionnaire, one that reflects the specifics of your roles, your compliance requirement, and even your brand voice. And these conversations aren't rigid scripts. They adapt to the role and the candidate.
Are you available to work the scheduled shift from 5 in the morning to 5 in the evening, Friday through Sunday?
I can work 5 in the morning on Saturdays, 5 in the evening on Saturdays, 5 in the morning to 5 in the evening on Sundays. And I can work 5 in the evening to 5 in the morning on Fridays, sorry.
So, for example, here you heard a candidate talking about when they can work. Even in instances where the candidate's response is a bit unclear, the agent is able to understand just like a human would and can react effectively. The agent was able to understand, capture the details, and make it feel like a real conversation instead of a form. And that's the benefit of a dynamic questionnaire. It can flex to job-specific attributes while keeping the candidate experience smooth and human. Of course, before a conversation can even happen, the agent has to connect with the candidate, and that part's just as flexible. Candidates can be invited through SMS or email, launched in bulk with automation, or even call back and reschedule on their own, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So instead of recruiters chasing people down, the agent actually meets the candidates where they are and keeps the process moving, all while giving candidates options and control. And once the conversation starts, it doesn't feel like a robot just firing off a checklist. The voice agent is contextual and personal. It uses your organization's tone and language, and it's grounded in the job and in the company details that matter. So, if you're hiring a care aide in Newark versus Phoenix, then the agent will reflect the geo-specific knockout criteria and how it delivers the questions and responds. It's going to make the experience feel consistent and natural and aligned with who you are as an employer, even including regional nuances. And here's where the intelligence really comes through. The voice agent isn't just checking boxes. It can probe deeper in real time.
All right, have you had any experience picking orders in a warehouse setting?
Yes.
Thanks for confirming that. So, Patrick, what methods or techniques have you used for wrapping pallets?
If a candidate says they've worked in a certain role, the agent can follow up to learn more. If there's an important qualification, it can ask clarifying questions and capture all the details. That means you don't just get yes, no answers. You get real insight into that candidate's experience without a recruiter having to be on the line. Now, even in the best conversations, things don't always land perfectly. Candidates might not catch a question the first time, or they might jump in mid-sentence with something else on their mind.
Thanks for sharing that. In this role, you may need to travel overnight within your territory. Are you comfortable?
One question regarding the territory. Will it affect my candidature if I'm managing the smaller territory?
You'll have the opportunity to ask these questions later in the hiring process. So, are you comfortable with overnight travel within your territory?
Yes, I'm comfortable with overnight travel within my territory.
Talk about interrupting. The voice agent can repeat a question clearly without sounding robotic. And if it's interrupted, it doesn't freeze or get confused. It simply pauses, listens, and picks back up right where it left off. And that's what makes it feel reliable and human. The flow of the conversation keeps moving naturally, even when it isn't perfect. The voice agent can automatically apply knockout criteria, instantly disqualifying candidates who don't meet must-haves. No guesswork, no chasing, no wasted recruiter time. So instead of spending hours on early phone screens that go nowhere, recruiters can prioritize candidates who are already qualified to move forward. But of course, recruiters are not cut out of the process. Every conversation is captured with a structured transcript and summary, so nothing gets lost in translation. And the system provides a recommended rating, but it's just that, a recommendation. Recruiters can review, confirm, or override as needed. So the agent isn't replacing judgment, it's removing the repetitive work while keeping recruiters firmly in the driver's seat. And the impact our customers are seeing is huge. 85% of candidates complete the call within the first day. 20% are automatically disqualified through knockout questions. And candidates rate the experience an average of 4.5 out of 5 stars. So what used to take 3 or more days of back and forth is now done in hours. Recruiters screen more candidates in less time, more in general. Hiring managers get qualified people faster, and candidates are able to leave with a positive impression of your brand. And that is the voice agent. It's always on, it's consistent, it's adaptable, and it's going to give recruiters time back, moving candidates faster and improving the experience for everyone.
Hi, I'm Janella Tuck, Strategic Projects and Enablement Manager within Talent Acquisition at IAG. IAG is the largest general insurance group in Australia and New Zealand. I'm delighted to be here today to share our journey implementing Phenom's interview intelligence, how we moved from fragmented processes to a unified AI-powered approach to interviewing. To provide some further context, IAG implemented Phenom's Candidate Relationship Management module, Candidate Management System, which powers our external career site, Hiring Leader module, interview scheduling, and interview intelligence as part of a broader transformation of our hiring ecosystem. The implementation occurred over a period of approximately 7 to 8 months. However, today I'm here to talk about our Phenom interview intelligence journey. So before Phenom, our interview process was fragmented and very manual. Hiring teams built their own guides using a clunky self-serve builder, often paper-based, hard to edit once created, and inconsistently used across teams and divisions. This inconsistency made it difficult to ensure fairness, compare candidates objectively, or align on interviews with our organisational values and standards. We also lacked visibility and governance across Australia and New Zealand, which impacted the overall experience of both candidates and hiring leaders. We knew we needed a smarter, scalable solution, and that's where Phenom Interview Intelligence came in. It introduced a layer of intelligence we simply didn't have before, with features like automated scheduling, easy-to-build interview guides, now owned by Talent Acquisition, and created in collaboration with the hiring leaders. Standardized evaluation scorecards, real-time transcription, and bias detection. We've completely transformed how we assess talent and uplifted the experience for all personas, being candidates, hiring leaders, and our talent acquisition consultants. What's truly powerful is how we've embedded our capability frameworks directly into the AI, ensuring every interview aligns with our organisational standards. The impact was immediate and noticeable. We've seen high adoption across our talent acquisition consultants and hiring teams. We've already saving hundreds of hours in manual admin, and more importantly, we've created a consistent, fair, and scalable interview experience that supports better hiring decisions. One of our biggest wins has been standardising interviews while still allowing for hiring team flexibility. Every candidate, whether in Sydney, Australia, or Christchurch, New Zealand, now receives a consistent and equitable experience. Our AI governance framework, developed in partnership with our internal subject matter experts, shaped our fairness standards. We've scaled this across Australia and New Zealand, and it's now a core part of our hiring ecosystem. We've now standardised interviews across more than 90 plus worksite locations, and the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. For any project, change management plays a critical role. When developing our change and comm strategy, we put ourselves in the shoes of the receiver. knowing that everyone has different learning styles and being open and receptive to change, especially when hiring talent is not their day job. We designed a structured change management approach, which included group training sessions, videos, how-to guides, and hands-on support. This helped our talent acquisition team and hiring leaders see AI as a partner and not a replacement. Our talent acquisition consultants have played a key role in change adoption. In fact, our hiring leaders have told us that the talent acquisition team's hands-on support, especially the option to run mock interviews before going live, made a noticeable difference in their confidence and readiness. That proactive approach helped ease the transition and ensured they felt well prepared from the outset. Today, interview intelligence acts as a co-pilot, surfacing insights and augmenting human judgment. Our talent acquisition consultants now use interview intelligence during phone screens, giving a consistent, early view of candidates and enabling faster, more confident shortlisting. It significantly streamlined our hiring process. Hiring managers have shared that they're no longer taking notes during interviews, allowing them to stay fully present with candidates, leading to more meaningful and engaging conversations. Throughout the rounds of interviews, being able to share interview summaries and identifying key areas to delve into further has been a game changer for the hiring teams. As you can imagine, the candidate experience has also been significantly uplifted with those improvements, especially sharing information through the rounds of interviews. We have a high percentage of candidates opting in for interview intelligence recordings. It's clearly emphasised in all of our communication and at the start of the interviews that it's optional and they can opt out at any time. But from our experience, candidates are excited using AI, understanding the benefits, and noticeably seeing engaged talent acquisition consultants and hiring leaders. For us, the data is speaking for itself. We've seen improvements in quality of hire, reduced time to fill, and stronger compliance outcomes. Interview intelligence is helping IAG transition to a skills-led organisation, and as mentioned earlier, it is significantly saving hundreds of hours in manual admin. The transformation taught us a lot. First, governance and stakeholder alignment are non-negotiable. Second, change management must be embedded, not bolted on. And third, it's a journey. We continue to review the experience and refine it. We do have a saying in our talent acquisition function: standing still is not an option. We need to continue evolving to stay current and competitive. Looking ahead, we're exploring deeper integrations with our skills and careers framework, expanding sentiment analysis, and enhancing post-interview analytics. The Phenom roadmap is exciting, and we're committed to evolving with it. My advice to others: start with your people. Build trust in the technology and let AI elevate, not replace, your hiring decisions. Thank you for listening. At IAG, we believe the future of hiring is human-led and AI-enabled, and interview intelligence is helping us get there. Once again, appreciate your time today. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Janella. In speaking with customers like IAG, what we've heard from all of you is that your candidates are starting to catch up with technology. For example, have you ever posted a job and within the first 10 minutes, you get 1,000 applications? Or have you ever been in an interview and it kind of feels like the candidate is reading from a script, kind of like they're like ChatGPT or something? Oh, maybe you've had one of those experiences where a completely different person shows up for the interview than the person that went through the screening process. The real question, though, is how can we utilize agentic AI to help you resolve some of these issues? Eventually, Phenom's fraud detection agents will be able to cover a wide variety of use cases throughout the entire hiring process. But today, we're going to walk you through agents built directly into your interview experience. When preparing for your interview, the interview assistant helps you get ready by offering you a guide and giving you the ability to use generative AI to ask role-specific questions. Once the interview begins, you can continue to use the assistant to take notes and highlight key moments, providing you the opportunity to focus solely on the candidate. As the interview continues to take place, this candidate, though, seems perfect, like too good to be true. Like maybe this could be one of those candidates that's using some AI to help them answer questions. You don't have to wonder. The agent is focused as it begins to identify and alert you of the possibility of this candidate doing just that. Because the agent is note-taking, analyzing, and understanding, it recommends a more thorough question to dig a little bit deeper, ensuring that the candidate's answers are personal to their lived experience, not the experience of some AI that's running in the background. After the interview is complete, you'll receive a summary, which highlights 4 key integrity checkpoints. This candidate has passed that identity check, ensuring that their face and audio matches all of the previous interviews. However, the conversational analysis tells us a little bit of a different story, identifying differences in key areas of authenticity, performance, and consistency. The fraud detection agent empowers your team to ensure your candidates are authentic, reliable, experienced, and the actual people that show up on the first day.
Hi, everyone. I'm Robin D'Agostino, and I lead global recruiting, marketing, and employer branding here at BCG.
Hi, and I'm Odette Engelbrecht. I lead strategic talent acquisition initiatives at BCG. It's great to be here with all of you at your Phenom AI Day.
And why we're here, right? We've all seen how quickly AI is shaping the talent space, from sourcing candidates to developing employees. But with that transformation comes a challenge. How do we make sure that AI is used responsibly, fairly, and with humans still at the center? And this is an issue globally. In fact, Gartner's recent survey found that only 26% of job candidates trust AI to evaluate them fairly, while 25% say that they trust employers less when AI is used in hiring. So candidates are asking really tough questions about trust, transparency, and bias, and our recruiters were asking us for guidance too.
Yeah, that's right, Robin. And that's why we created the AI Talent Promise. It's a people-first framework designed to guide responsible AI across the entire talent journey. It's built to strengthen trust, keep humans at the center, and serve as a standard that the broader industry can rally around. BCG developed and launched the AI Talent Promise earlier this year as the first structured pledge of its kind in the talent space. Talent is an acronym that captures our commitments. It's a play on the words talent. T for transparent, A for accountable, L for learning, E for ethical, N for notified, and more important, T for trustworthy. It is our way of putting people at the center of AI innovation while setting a standard we hope the entire industry will adopt.
And Odette, that's a really important point. The AI Talent Promise was designed to start with an industry-wide framework. And we did introduce a promise seal so organizations can signal publicly that they're committed to responsible, human-centered AI in HR.
Yeah, and at BCG, we've embedded these principles in how we operate. So in recruiting, for example, we use AI to guide candidates to the right roles through personalization. Our conversational AI enhances the experience further by answering questions in real time and streamlining both the job discovery and the application process.
And so we've applied this approach in how candidates explore opportunities. So our AI-powered tools personalize the career site experience and surface the most relevant jobs, but always in a way that empowers job seekers to make their own choices. So if I had to simplify, the guiding principle is really about AI supports and people decide. And what's been so exciting about this is that the candidate satisfaction score has really gone up. We've seen an actual impact, and we've also heard some great verbatims and sound bites where candidates have said, this is one of the easiest applications process I've ever had. And What's really great, even better, is our recruiters are spending less time on admin and more time connecting with candidates.
And that's not all. Internally, our managers are saving thousands of hours every year with feedback tools like Prime, while employees get richer, more balanced input and feedback on their development. So it's a win-win.
I really want to emphasize, most importantly, we're not doing this alone. Partners like Phenom, who have been great, and others are joining in this promise. And that's how it becomes bigger, right? It's about creating an industry-wide standard to build trust in AI across HR so we can have better statistics than the Gartner study that's out there today.
So if you're thinking about your own AI journey, here are a few tips from our experience.
First, I would say really codify your principles, right? Don't wait. Publish your commitments to employees and candidates so they know where you stand.
Second thing, keep humans in the loop. AI can support decisions, but accountability must stay with people.
Yeah, and finally, start with high impact areas, recruiting, staffing, learning where AI can really enhance the experience and not replace it.
And that is the heart of the AI talent promise. And we invite you to join us in making responsible AI the new standard in talent.
Thanks so much for having us.
So, hello everyone. My name is Przemysław Żyła. It's a real pleasure to join you at Phenom AI Days. For over 3 years now, I've been working at Merck KGaA, based in Darmstadt. In my current role as HR IT business architect, I focus on HR tools and how to maximize their value while reducing their entire landscape unnecessary complexity. What excites me most is exploring how these tools can truly empower our people and unlock new possibilities in HR.
Warm welcome also from my side. My name is Leandra Krieb. I'm the head of skill-based HR products, and with that mainly responsible to identify how we can revamp our HR processes and technologies to become truly skills-driven in everything we do. And with that, and in that role, also being the product owner for our internal talent marketplace. But let me really talk about a little bit how we started off our journey on skills, on becoming really skills driven. And first and foremost, we really listened to our employees and honestly to those that left us. And what we heard is really they left us due to lack of transparent career and development opportunities in the first place. And obviously not just that, but also when we look outside. I mean, everyone is familiar with the ever rapidly changing environment that we live in, that our businesses must, stay so agile, adaptable. And with that, we also need a skilled workforce that can really cope with that pressure, right? And constantly learn and upskill. And here I really like to always state a quote from our CEO who said once, when our people grow, our business grows. And there's so much value in that statement. And for me, obviously, naturally working in HR, right? I really, want to equip our people best, that they are future ready and that we as a company are future ready. And previously, I have to say, we always said to our people, drive your own development. You are in the driver's seat, right? But then in reality, they were overwhelmed because we had like hundreds of different tools, initiatives scattered across the different businesses that we have, across countries, across different SharePoints, other digital tools, Excel files, you name it, right? And this really led us to create a one-stop shop, which is the talent marketplace powered by Phenom AI. And what we started off was that we said, okay, we want to really put our employees first, right? So we said, okay, we offer them that they, in the first place, can create their skills profile. They can, share their aspirations where they want to go with us. And the immediate benefit on why they would share all this data with us is that the first time they access this marketplace, they would get personalized recommendations and a first set on jobs that we would have internally. and a bit later on learnings and mentorings that are accessible across the company. And just January this year also a marketplace for growth assignments, which is unique because it was never there centrally before for all the 65 countries and more than 60,000 people that we have at Merck. And reflecting a little bit and maybe sharing even some numbers, just reflecting on the first year after having launched that platform, it's really super nice to see we have by now more than 50,000 registered users, over 21 skill profiles filled out. What I love most, more than 1,800 mentors and mentees that paired up via the platform. And also, as we just launched this year, cross assignments, which are short-term project assignments, up to from 1 month up to 12 months. Also, they are like more than 330 running currently already. So this is super nice to see how successful this is, right? What really touches me mostly is when I talk to individual people, right? When they tell me their individual story, how they, for example, found a mentor that they would have never had access to because it's, the mentor lives in another country or is 3 hierarchical levels, higher or maybe even lower, right? So we're really breaking boundaries and silos between functions, hierarchies, countries, which is super nice, and opens up so many opportunities for everyone in the company. But still, obviously, we are not at the end of the journey. So to become really a truly skills-powered organization, it's also a lot around cultural shift, which will take us over the next course of the years. And also process and data-wise, there is some challenges. So maybe, Temek, you want to elaborate a little bit on that piece.
So imagine you just bought the world's most advanced coffee machine. It promised perfect espresso every time, but you quickly realize, without fresh beans, clean water, and good recipe, and of course, perfect cleaning, you are never going to get that perfect cup. So we believe that AI in business is just like this. It's not a magic fix. It's a powerful tool, but only if you've done the hard work behind the scenes. At our company, we know that AI is not the saint girl. It doesn't solve business problem by itself. Success starts with understanding our use cases, streamlined processes, and most importantly, building a foundation of solid, trusted data. We faced a few huge challenges. How do we map the complex landscape of skills and roles across 63K employees worldwide? Traditional methods were slow, manual, and of course, quickly outdated. Excel was not working. Instead, we need agility, accuracy, and scalability, something that could keep pace with our evolving business. Now, we help with Phenom, which brings in smart digital solution, which help us to establish a global skills framework. We didn't wait 2 years to set up these foundations. Instead, we implemented the talent marketplace within a couple of months. That way, we started gathering data from our people. We show them quickly benefits, and we foster a culture of continuous improvement and learning over time.
And Temek, do you also want to share a little bit about, how we make sure that we use AI in a responsible manner at Merck? Because I think it's super critical, especially, for our users, the employees at Merck, right? That they also trust in the technology. Because sometimes what I'm hearing from people is also when they hear AI, sometimes it feels like a threat. Or AI is doing something. What do they do with my data? So can you tell a bit how we tackle AI and digital solutions at Merck?
Now, there is something most organizations overlook. Responsible AI isn't just about the technology. It's about governance, ethics, and compliance. At our company, our AI governance procedure is our North Star. We follow a risk-based approach, evaluating every AI system for potential risks for health, safety, and fundamental rights. Every AI initiative is registered, documented, and tracked for compliance with global standards, like, for example, EU AI Act. We embedded digital ethics, data privacy, and non-discrimination in every step, from development to deployment. And of course, we invest in continuous training and awareness, making sure that our teams understand both the power and the limits of AI. This governance framework gave us the confidence to scale also Phenom AI across our talent architecture and agile landscape. We know we are protecting our employees and our business and, of course, our reputation.
Yeah, I think we cannot emphasize that that more, because it's so important to share transparently how we use AI. That AI will never make any decision, right? And really that we make every one of us accountable to use it wisely, and obviously that we make transparent how we use any data from our employees across any processes and technologies that we have in place. And I think this is part of the success that people then also, trust in it, and really leverage it. Now, so I guess we shortly come to a close. So let me just maybe close with a bit of an outlook. As Jimmy said, we are about to launch now a global skills framework, which is coming in Q4 this year. So soon around the corner. And with that framework, we really standardize skills on roles at Merck and make relevant skills, including also proficiency levels that are required, transparent to every employee at Merck, so that, with that, they can even get further, personalized experiences. And at the same time, we will also with that empower managers so that they get, access so that they know what skills, are available in teams to become really growth coaches, and have a better vehicle to really support their people to grow in the right direction and make really strategic talent decisions, focused on relevant skills. Looking into succession planning, looking into the right hire decision, etc. And over time, we obviously continue on the one hand side to strengthen the cultural transformation, because any technology can only be as good as the people that adopt it. So we need to continue fostering a growth mindset in the organization, and at the same time, we further look into more HR processes that we want to revamp to even, be more skills driven over time, and that we, then in the next years really truly are that skills powered organization, as we call it. With that, huge thank you everyone for listening in, and enjoy the rest of AI Day.
Be in the driver's seat of your career. I'm sure that phrase hits home for a lot of you, but you also understand how complex it is to actually deliver on that promise. Scaling this concept in Merck KGaA's case, with over 63,000 employees and over 3 businesses, can often lead to far too many disconnected tools, initiatives, and definitions, making it nearly impossible to understand your global skills framework. Phenom's employee relationship management solution, we're going to go ahead and call that one ERM moving forward, provides the AI-driven intelligence that powers personally curated recommendations across the platform. The ERM is built on orchestrating industry-specific ontologies, adding your enterprise context to deliver your personal company ontology, to guide critical tasks and decisions today, while also being future-ready. Your talent management team will have a centralized view of your skills landscape on the employee, role, and even organizational level. Insights into the unique skills, experiences, interests, and aspirations of each of your team members are normalized and searchable to not only guide personalized recommendations, but also support data-driven workforce and succession planning. A role-level view is also established based on rich industry data and the context that makes jobs in your organization unique. The common tasks important to the role, along with all of those skills that are both required and recommended, are mapped out. As the needs of both the market and your organization evolve, this always-on approach to skills governance stays up to date to meet these changing dynamics. Potential progressions are also mapped out based both on historic company movement and skill transferability to ensure that your employees are always in the driver's seat, while talent management stays in the loop on what is being recommended. Skills understanding is unlocked across the organization. And not only that, it's searchable. You will see where your skills exist across the workforce, along with all those skill adjacencies to guide data-driven strategy for the whole business. Now let's take a look at this and how this intelligence facilitates the growth of your employees. Whether it be excelling in their current role, checking out some open opportunities that they may be a fit for, or understanding how their unique skills and experience translate to career growth inside as well as outside their department, your ontology gives them guidance with individually curated recommendations. For career growth, these AI-driven insights leverage your ontology to recommend the paths that are relevant on the individual level based on historic company movement, skill transferability, as well as those paths that are prioritized by HR. For those that are explorers and looking for a more non-traditional path, the Choose Your Own Adventure option also exists to illustrate how they can navigate the organization towards their dream job. Along with curated recommendations, the intelligence provides direction on the skills and proficiency levels necessary to thrive in the role. But the next big question everyone always has is, how can I get those skills to prepare myself to be ready for my next adventure once the stars align? Recommended tasks based on relevant upskilling opportunities, such as content from your LMS platform, maybe some mentorship opportunities, or even gigs, projects, or experiential learning, are curated and recommended on the individual level. Preparing your workforce for the opportunities of tomorrow by delivering personalized growth journeys is critical to empower mobility.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be with you all today, and I trust that you're enjoying your AI Day experience so far. Great to be with you. My name is Tim Lippincott. I'm the Vice President of People Strategy at Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield. Excited to be here to share with you how we've leveraged AI to answer two really critical and fundamental questions. The first being, how will we grow and retain our talent to meet ever-changing needs of our business and employee expectations? Second is, how do we increase our managers' ability and their effectiveness to drive meaningful development planning with their teams when really they're already pressed for time? I know I'm probably speaking to a group of leaders in the room here today who can probably relate to that. So our goal was really to identify, how do we accomplish those two things? How do we bring more into the organization and for our talent, but how do we do so in a way that is very mindful of the employees' leaders' time, knowing that it's already pressed? At Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield, our mission really is to help provide, to really help people in our communities live healthier and more secure lives through access to high quality and affordable healthcare. And our people are really key to that future success and helping us to achieve that mission. So I'll start a little bit with how we're utilizing AI today, and then I'll really get into how our leaders are beginning to see the value in their use through experiences with their teams. And the story here in terms of how we're utilizing it today centers around retention, employee growth, and one that I'm really excited about, what we're seeing is empowering mobility. But I'll start with what we were seeing right away, and that's personalizing the employee's journey for development. Right, with Phenom and our internal talent marketplace, every employee can receive recommendations tailored to their role, to their interests, to their aspirations for their long-term career. And they can also connect that to training, stretch assignments, mentorship opportunities, all very important that we're able to have a system that does this, especially working in a hybrid work environment that we have today at the organization. AI really helps our employees see recommended career paths that they might not have otherwise come to. We're not that large of an organization, but what we found is it's complex. right? Our industry is complex. Our employees' ability to see all the possibilities from a career standpoint was full of that complexity as well, too. We've now been able to have our employees see where they are today, what skills they bring, what knowledge, what experience they bring, and what talent they bring to this organization. And it helps identify opportunities, right? It doesn't mean they need to take every one of those, but it gets them thinking differently about what does that lateral move look like instead of just the vertical ladder that we always hear about. So visibility to all that this company has to offer was very important for us. Last year is empowers our employees, right? By surfacing opportunities in real time, employees can take ownership of their career path that they might not have otherwise discovered. In the past, they relied on leaders. They relied on job boards, right? And now we're able to really show opportunities to our employees before they might even know that they are ready for them based on who they are today. We also took the opportunity to leverage what we were doing externally with sourcing new talent to join our organization and really flip that around to become an internal sourcing strategy. We have a group of recruiters who now their sole purpose is to look at the talent inside this organization, mine that data that we're able to see from our talent profiles, current positions, skills that they have, and start to make linkages to opportunities that we might have otherwise challenges in staffing. So the employee experience, fundamental. Secondly, and this is really two sides of the same coin here, can't do one without the other, is how do we make this easy for leaders? Challenging with all the things that are that they have on their plate, expectations day to day. We wanted to create what I'll call smarter team development, right? Leaders in the past, we saw they were typically spreading that peanut butter across everyone, so everyone would get the same experience, developmental path. That wasn't going to work for us anymore. Our goal was to meet employees where they are today, and we needed to empower leaders to be able to do that with the visibility of the skills that exist on their teams today that highlight strengths in development areas. Leaders can now see where upskilling will make the biggest impact, both within their current positions, but also to help enable a development conversation to take place in terms of where that career pathing is set to go. So connecting employees with the right opportunities, but also making them better in the jobs that they hold today. But to simplify, how do we give time back to managers, right? If there's a gift, I think that we in HR try to give to our leaders, it's time. But that is a very challenging proposition. But what we found is with the AI that exists in our internal mobility platform, that streamlines development planning by pulling skills, career pathing, and mentorship, future opportunities into one place. That was central for us. So how do we have leaders go to one place, the same place that their employees are going for all things development? Because as much as it's great to have a development plan and skills are really enabling us to do a lot in that space, what's most important is, does it drive a meaningful conversation between manager and employee? And for us, that meant we had to clear the clutter that was getting in the way of that. So instead of sharing documents back and forth, development plans and Excel spreadsheets and Word documents, we now have one place that enables both leader and employee to have the visibility into that plan, and also centering it around employee needs, employee skills, growth, right? Both for their experience and for where our organization is headed. And lastly, for our leaders, is driving performance and engagement. This has essentially become our retention strategy. It's centered around when employees know that their development is a priority, right? And they know it's a priority for their organization, and more specifically for their manager. It builds engagement, right? It strengthens retention and drives for better results for our members and for our business in many ways. So in closing, before I let you get back to your day, it's about creating a culture of growth, both for our employees, for our organization, and doing so in a way that is mindful of what's on our leaders' plate. Now we can equivocally say that every employee has a personalized, or the opportunity to have a personalized development journey, and every leader is beginning to be equipped with ways in terms of how do they nurture that talent. With AI, right, I think a lot of times we think about what AI and what are some of the issues that we have yet to define. But what we're seeing in this way that we've rolled it out is we're not just preparing for the future of work, we're shaping it together, and we're doing so in partnership with our business, with our leaders, and meeting our employees' needs. So I really thank you for the opportunity to spend some time with you. It's been a journey that we've taken slowly over the past couple of years, and we're really at that place right now where we're leveraging our leaders to enable this experience for our employees. So it's an exciting time for us, and I know it's an exciting day for you. I wish you the best.
Once again, thank you for tuning in to our short little clip show of AI Day. If you want to watch the full thing, you can find it on phenom.com. There is a lot more intricacies. We get into how the technology works. We get into the nuts, bolts, and widgets and everything in between. It is long. So definitely grab some popcorn, maybe a snack as well if you're going to sit through that. But it is worth all of it. I can assure you that. And it's going to make you sound smarter in your next meeting. So definitely watch all of AI Day. In the meantime, I hope everyone has a safe, happy, and healthy weekend. Thanks so much. Bye.